What's up, guys? We are live. Gonna wait for some folks to hop in. Purpose of this video, purpose of going live today is to let you guys know that we finished the direct mail course and it is now live. I pinned the link to it over here in the chat if you guys want to take a look at it. So what this is our exact system for how we get digital marketing clients using direct mail. So you're going to get the actual template that we use, how we pick a niche to do it in, how we build the list for the niche or buy the list, whether we print it in-house using our printer right here or hire a mail house to do it. I give you a bunch of examples of niche-specific letters in there as well that we've mailed. I also give you a B2C example just so you can see the psychology behind it. And then we go through a segment on actually customizing it for your particular business and your particular niche and walk through like the 4 or 5 elements of it and how to effectively customize it. So this is literally it, guys. This is the exact formula, everything. I didn't hold anything back here. This is exactly what we use. This is how we're able to quickly penetrate a market and start generating leads quickly. So, while our inbound organic traffic is picking up steam in the background, we'll penetrate a new market that we want to target with direct mail and cold calling. And what I've given you guys is the exact everything. It's literally the exact template that we use. You'll see live examples of how we customize it, and then a full tutorial on how you guys should, customize it based on what it is that you're offering. So the template itself can literally be used for Google ads, for Facebook ads, for SEO. It could be done for web design. It could be done for even email marketers, really anybody, a marketing consultant, LinkedIn ad guy or girl, literally anybody that offers marketing services and helps companies generate more leads online. So it's pretty customizable. So if you guys have any questions on it, start throwing them into the description. And as promised with the title of this, getting marketing clients, I'll just walk through some of the stuff we would do. So let's say we wanted to get into a new market, like let's say a year and a half, 2 years ago, when we wanted to get into the real estate investor space. We've got a lot of clients in that market now. Our 2 main penetration tactics, our tip of the spear tactics that we used were direct mail and cold calling. Now we get a lot of inbound leads because of relationships that we have and referral agreements that we have, and then also SEO work that we've done and some content that we produced. So that drives us a lot of leads. But when we're brand new in the market and we've got nothing, you've got to go out and penetrate that market. And how are you going to do that? And that's a cold approach. And for us, direct mail has always been effective. So I get a lot of requests for what our direct mail looks like, how it works, all that kind of stuff. So we put together this course going through it all. So if you guys have any questions on anything, just hit me up in the chat. I'm going to do a little bit of email work in the background until I get some questions. Hey, Joe, we don't have training on Google Ads for real estate investors and agents. We just have our regular training, or our more standard training. So, Joe, are you an agency, Joe, or are you an investor / real estate agent? If you give me a little bit of context as to your situation, I can point you towards, in the right direction. Edward asks, is your direct mail handwritten? In years past, yes, it was. Now it is not. We don't do anything handwritten anymore. We used to hand address the envelopes and hand sign the letters, and we just kept split testing and split testing and testing and testing and testing. And what we found was what's it called? A labeled envelope is just as effective. So all the extra labor, all the extra hours of time that went into it when we were originally doing this ourselves turned out to be not necessary. So I was a big believer in hand addressing it for a long time. And then someone pushed us to say, try to get this as cheaply out the door as possible and see what happens. So we kept trying it and trying it and trying it and driving down those costs. And what we found was we didn't really see a decrease in response for labels versus handwritten. So saves us a lot of time now. Having said that, if you work with the mail house that we recommend in the course, which is Yellow Letter HQ, they do have handwriting fonts for the outside of the letter if you did want to go that route, which is totally fine. It's just, the difference between the labor of you doing it yourself versus having a robot do it and the cost being the same, or the cost for label versus that being the same. Edward asks, so you have direct mail, automated, outsourced. Yeah, now we outsource it all when we do it. Prior, we were doing it all in-house. Now we were with another company for a couple of years, ended up switching to a newer company. The experience has been awesome. It's very easy to work with, and they mail very frequently, so you can get mail out the door pretty quick. Joe, so you're an agency. Training for investors. I don't know of any training for real estate investors for Google Ads. I mean, actually I do. What is it called? Edward Nerds has a course. I don't know what it costs. That goes through real estate investor keywords and campaign build. We also have our Google Ads course that'll teach you how to build campaigns. And then if you just go online and look for real estate investor keywords, you're going to see, a list of them. Keep in mind, like anything else, there's an 80-20 to it, and a couple of ad groups within that are going to drive the majority of the traffic. So they don't need to be really large campaigns, but you do need to be very ruthless with your keyword selection so that you don't go towards the retail side of the market. The investor side of the market is a very, very specific type of search. So keep that in mind. Real estate agents, I don't know anybody that has a course on that. I'm sure there is, and I'm sure there's tutorials on YouTube for it. For the retail side, there's going to be way more traffic for properties for sale in XYZ, that kind of stuff. I don't really run retail real estate agent campaigns. So I'm not the best person to speak about that, but I'd imagine it's going to be a mixture of like agent near me keywords. And then also houses for sale and XYZ going to like an IDX page to show them, relevant content, and then retargeting that for a long period of time. But I don't know specifically. Joe, this direct mail course is $197. The Google Ads course is $197. The landing page course is $197. But Joe, if you're going to run traffic for real estate agents, you're probably going to want to run to their main website to an IDX that will integrate or swap out content based on what they're looking for. What else you guys got? Edward writes, do you see AdWords becoming more competitive still, or has it plateaued? Yeah, I mean, click costs are definitely more expensive than they were. Like roofing, for example, has like doubled or tripled click cost in the last couple of years. So yeah, it's definitely gotten more competitive. Having said that, some markets are, still as easy as they ever were. Not ever were. This isn't, 2010, but it's still a very viable place to get business. We've got a lot of clients that we're really their only source of lead generation. which isn't the most ideal situation for them. You want to have some sort of stability to bring in leads. I always talk about the bar stool. Have one leg on a bar stool, not stable, turns over. 2, not stable. But 3, you start to build that stability. 4, you start to build really stable base. So the more ways you can effectively bring in profitable new business, the better you are, the more you can sleep at night, or the easier you can sleep at night. So I still think it's a very viable market. This is how I make my living. So yes, I do. Joe, what was that called again? Sorry, kids yelling. No worries, man. I threw out a couple things in there. I threw out AdWords Nerds. They did a course for real estate investors on it. I've never been through the course, so I don't know specifically, but you'd mentioned earlier if there was a course on it. As far as real estate agents courses, I don't know. I mentioned the IDX, which is the housing platform that real estate agents use, or it's a database that'll pull in different feeds. And then our course pricing was basically everything's $197 for each. You guys got anything else? What do you got? Edward writes, have you tried adding in video to landing pages? Does it increase conversion? Yes and no. Just something you have to test. So yes, we've added videos in the header. We've added testimonial videos, and you just have to test. There's no one size fits all answer, because everyone's videos are going to be different. So, I can say the answer would be yes. However, 2 clients' videos are going to be different. So there's no steadfast answer there. You've got to test it. Because one client's video could be great, and the other ones could be terrible, and it'll tank results, and vice versa. So test it. Sky's the limit. Can you share your sales script? Yeah, we're going to be doing that in the agency course that we're putting together. That'll be in there as well. The agency course, what we're going to do is package all of our courses together into one course and do a big discount on it. And there'll be sales training in there. There'll be scripting. Script isn't intense. It's basically you take a doctor's approach to it. You're the one with the expertise. You ask probing questions about their current situation. You ask, where they want to get to. And then if it's applicable, you present yourself as a solution. So in a doctor setting, you go into a doctor, they take out their clipboard, they ask you a bunch of questions, they run some tests, and they make a diagnosis, and then they prescribe a solution. So same exact thing. It does not need to be rocket science. It does not need to be, all the rage about the high-end closer type scripts where you're pressuring people into sales. It doesn't need to be that. It can be very conversational, and you can do very well with it. So our sales process is very simple. I will definitely be sharing that. Yep, Joe, IDX. Cool. Awesome. Derek, awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cool. What else you guys got? Anything about anything agency related, direct mail related, whatever you guys want, fire away. Automated inventory. Have you tried automotive lead gen? We have not. We don't do that. Those are pretty complex campaigns to run, in our opinion. And our pricing model, the way it works, we can't make it work internally at our current pricing structures, especially on white label. So we just stay away from it. It's a different skill set. There's some software that you need to integrate with on the back end, and that's not really our game. Joe, have you ever tried lead gen from Google Ads? Yes, and that's very effective. However, in our opinion, in order to do it effectively, you need a couple of things. For us, it always worked best if it was niched down. So when we run Google Ads, it would be either a niche agency specific, or for us, it'd be white label specific, running to a white label about white label, not just generalized Google Ads. So the more you can niche down in a campaign, the better off you're going to be. That's just I think like anything else, and I think the more niche your advertising is, the more you speak to that particular person's needs and wants and desires, the better off your results are going to be. So I'm all for it as long as it's niche down. And then also you got to be doing retargeting of some sort as well, in my opinion. The value is there to warrant it. So even $5 a day back end in Facebook retargeting would be appropriate. Having some testimonials and video testimonials would be appropriate as well, from a marketing perspective. However, having said that, it is relatively expensive. So in my opinion, I would rather spend that money on direct mail potentially, because typically our acquisition cost is cheaper on the direct mail side of things when we niche down versus a niche down Google Ads campaign. And then one other thing we found is our back end retargeting tends to be cheaper acquisition than our front end search campaign as well. So, but you need a larger list to do that. Cool. What else you guys got? Joe, do you run retargeting on Google or do you prefer Facebook? When we're running it, I'd say both. So Facebook is great because it can be very fast. You can be retargeting very quickly. Whereas with Google, you need a decent sized list for it to start becoming effective and to really get any penetration. So with us, we get a decent amount of traffic. So we're able to build that audience size quickly for the Google side of things. I like them both. I think they're both effective. Being able to cross over platforms, I think, is great. So yeah, I mean, you could do both for $5 or $10 a day on the back end. Keep in mind, we probably get more traffic than a lot of local businesses. So if you're thinking about it from a local perspective, I'd probably recommend Facebook like I do most of the time for our clients. It's not something we offer, but an agency could set it up pretty quickly for them. Something $5 a day would be fine, $10 a day. Nothing huge. You can do a lot more with less in terms of list size and ad budget on Facebook than with Google, unfortunately. Google, you just need larger lists and it takes longer to ramp that up. Cool. What else you guys got? Anything? All right. If you guys got nothing, I'm gonna jump off. Jeff, what's up, man? What do you got? Give me something. Ask a question. Joe says, what software do you use for landing pages? So we use Instapage for landing pages. We use CallRail for call tracking. We use Swidu. I still can never pronounce it, for reporting. And that's basically ClickCease for some clients, depending on if they need it. And then an MCC account, which is a free Google dashboard that allows you to manage multiple client accounts from one location. So outside of that, you really don't need much else. And some alternatives. So Instapage is what we use. It's expensive. Alternatives would be Unbounce, ClickFunnels, Lead Pages. There are a bunch of other solutions out there, and there are WordPress plugins that you could use as well. Call tracking, we use CallRail. I guess you could use others, PhoneWagon, call tracking metrics. There are others that you can use. Our preference is CallRail. Reporting, we like Swidu, but you could also use Agency Analytics. You can use NinjaCat. There's a bunch of other alternatives in the market. ClickCease is an anti-fraud software. I don't know of any alternatives to that. I'm sure there are. I just don't know them. Corey, what are your thoughts on getting clients without a website brand? I use my LinkedIn. Do you have a website? Do you think a website will improve my closing rate? No, I think that's fine. When I first started, I did not have a website. When I was doing more marketing consulting, I would use my LinkedIn as well. And I just did not have a web presence. I eventually got one. But you do not need that to start. You do not need testimonials to start. You do not need a website to start. You do not need business cards. You do not need brochures and stuff like that. Just go out and have business conversations with business owners and marketing managers, and see what happens. That's and LinkedIn can be a gold mine. There's a ton of automation on there, and you can smell it from a mile away, and it's spammy as hell. Like I get tons of automated messages from marketers all day, offering services that I offer, offering them to me. And I'm just like, bro, they don't look, and that's fine. It is what it is. But I try to add some sort of personalization in there if you can. Raul, what's up, man? What are the free software to start your ad campaigns for free? Free softwares to start. Okay, so technically, you got the client's website's already there, right? Or assuming they've got a website. You could build them a landing page on WordPress. There are plugins that you can use to do it, and you could do it really inexpensively, or you could just build a page internally if you had to do that. Google does offer call tracking. It's not the best, but it is there. You can set up Google call tracking. It does not record the calls, but that's an option. And that's it. And then reporting, you could do manually, weekly or monthly if you wanted to. Google Data Studio is free, and you could build reports in there if you wanted to. So there is that. You don't need all of this. It just makes your life a lot easier. So it's either you're paying for it or you're paying with your time to set everything up in alternative ways. Keep in mind, Google call tracking is not the best, in my opinion. We prefer a third-party platform that also records the calls as well. So that's our preference. So I hope that helps. Jeff, I came in late. Do you do email marketing to get new clients? We will email market to lists of clients that we a list of leads that we have, just with automated follow-up sequences. We have done a bunch of cold email, if that's what you're referring to, in the past. We don't do it currently, but I know tons of people that have built up 6- and 7-figure agencies specifically with just cold emailing. So it is still a very viable avenue to go down. But know your market, know who's going to be answering the emails, and speak to that person. And when I say speak, like write to that person. Whether it's going to be, if you're going into doctor's offices, it's likely going to be an office manager that intercepts it, not the doctor. And also don't mail from your main domain, because you're going to get flagged for spam at some point and it'll burn the domain. So if you're jeffweissman.com, get the .co, the .biz, the .net, the alternatives to the main.com where your branded email is, because you will burn that at some point, and then you won't be able to email from that, and it sucks. Ask me how I know that. And there's cold emailing courses out there. Some of the automation Google has shot down. I don't know if Woodpecker and those are still viable solutions. But yeah, they're out there. I'm just not the expert in it. There are groups on Facebook on it. There's videos on YouTube. Just try to find recent content, because some of the technical stuff has changed in the last year or so. So I don't want to set you off on the wrong path. I just don't know the answer to it. But it does work. Joe, for Instapage, do you use the business or conversion cloud package? I have no idea. We've been with Instapage for a long time. I have no idea what package we're on, to be honest with you. I know they wanted us to pay like $1,500 a month for it. And we threatened to leave, and then we got a better rate, but the rate we were paying was like 100% less than what we are paying now. But at this point, we have so many pages with them that it would be a bit of a pain in the butt to leave. So we're kind of stuck with them. We do like the platform though. Corey, Google call tracking is a bit faulty. I used it for clients and the call don't go through the client's phone. It just rings out and then recorded as a call. Yes, I agree. Yeah. I agree, Corey. There are a lot of issues with it. It's just the best free alternative if you had to use it, unfortunately. Yeah, I agree. I mean, try to set up CallRail if you can. We've got videos on the channel walking you through how to set it up. You can do it relatively inexpensively to do it. If you have the account yourself, one client will pay for it. The second client, you could also pass through the costs. You could ask that the clients pay for these costs. You could have it set up in a client's account. There's other ways around it. You don't have to house it up in yourself as an agency. It's our preference because it's just easier that way. And it's a must-have for us, but there are other ways to do this. There's no one-size-fits-all answer for any of this stuff. It all could be just like anything. There's an ass for every seat or a seat for every ass. There's tons of different ways to do this kind of stuff. Cool. What else you guys got? Joe, do you build a landing page for each ad group you create? No, we do not. We'll do them niche specific, if that makes sense. So niche specific and then campaign specific. So if we've got a bunch of campaigns, they'd all have different landing pages. If they are, I'll give you an example. Landscape and hardscape could be run in the same campaign, but they're two different niches really. So they'd need different landing pages, one for each. Another example, roofing. You could run commercial and residential in one campaign if you wanted to, but you would need a landing page for each, one for residential, one for commercial. Now within residential roofing, some will break it out: roof repair, roofing contractor, roof installation. You don't need to. You can do one page to cover both. That's fine. We really haven't seen an uptick to break it out that deep. So what we would recommend is just make sure if you're going to do commercial, make sure you have a different landing page for that, because that's a different language, different headline, different calls to action, different images that you're putting on the page. So just keep that in mind. Do you run SCAGs or STAGs? Don't know what a stag is, but we do run SCAGs. It depends on the size of the campaign, depends on the budget, depends on how much search volume there is in the market. There are instances that we run them, but there's tons of instances where we think they're overkill, and tightly themed ad groups are just as applicable. So they're good. However, the 80-20 of it all, is it worth all the extra effort when a tightly themed ad group will produce similar or same results? So our opinion would be it depends, but most of the time we're not running SCAGs. We do integrate some SCAGs, but we'll never have a campaign all SCAGs. Hope that helps. What else you guys got? You guys got anything else? You guys reading any good books? Any suggestions? What do you got? My wife got me, I don't know if you could see there and there, 2 sets of books from Harvard Business School. They're like, I think they call them 60-minute reads or 5-minute reads, something like that. But managing yourself, the essentials, change management, managing people, leadership, strategy, marketing, managing projects. So they're all Harvard Business School books that they package together. So I just got those in for Christmas. I'm going to start digging into those pretty soon. They look pretty good. Raul, can you give me some tips for bidding in an ad campaign? I cannot, because we've got tons of videos on our channel Just go to ClickSgeek's channel and search bid or bidding. And you're going to see tons of examples of videos, and you can see live examples of how we do what we do and why we do what we do. It's not as important to know how we do something as to know why we do something. So I would recommend watching those videos first, because what I can tell you in 30 seconds here is going to pale in comparison to all the videos Rob has done specifically on bidding. So what I would say is, I just said something here that I think is important to know, and I don't want to gloss over it. Knowing how to do something is not as important as to know why you're doing something. So the strategy behind something is a lot of times more important than the tactical side of things. And that's kind of what we teach in the certainly in the Google Ads course and landing page course, but also in the direct mail course that we did. There's a video segment in there. It's like 30 or 40 minutes long, where we go through customizing the template for specific niches. And we go through a bunch of different examples. I think we do roofing, assisted living facilities, restaurants, I think auto glass, and I think something else I can't remember. But we go through how I would change it, but also why I would change it. Because once you know the why, you can then replicate this for lots of other niches. And it's not just this, it's all marketing in general. Once you know the why, the how becomes a lot easier, if that makes sense. Joe, do you run all of your clients yourself, or do you outsource? Everything we do is in-house. We don't outsource any of the work. Because we about half our business is white labeled from other agencies. So I can't outsource work. That would not be the ethical thing to do. Corey, in a case where you are the only person with a strategy to get an ad approved, you have the secret sauce. In a case where you are the only person with a strategy to get an ad approved, you have the secret sauce. I have no idea what you're asking there, my man. Please ask that one again. Corey asks again, what are your thoughts on giving a client access to AdWords account and the same client seems to be interested in offering the exact service you are providing to them? So are you white labeling or freelancing for an agency? Is that what you're doing? I'm a little concerned or confused on the question there. And whose client account is it? Do you own the account and their credit card's on file and they're paying you, or is their credit card on file and it's their account? Walk me through more of the logistics on that one, because that's a confusing one without more context. Awesome, Earl. I hope it helps. Corey, what are your thoughts on giving a client access to the AdWords account and that same client seems to be interested in offering the exact service you were providing them? Still a little confused on that one, man. I think you're doing work for an agency. I think. Actually, I don't know. Please give me more details on that one. Okay, so you're freelancing. Who are you freelancing for? An agency or a business? And does that business want to freelance Google Ads? That's the part I'm confused on. Just give me the situation, and I'll walk you through it. Okay, you own the account and they pay you. What niche is it in? And who are you working for? Are you working for a business or an agency? You guys have any other questions? Going to stay on for another couple minutes here because I got a jet. Thank you, Earl. I appreciate it. It's I can't think of what they're called, but it's like it's a canvas. It's like a stretch canvas that you put over this frame. I don't know what it's called, but I like them. It's a cool site. A lot of cool products. And it doesn't do it justice. because it's super bright and vivid, and it's dark in the room, so you're not seeing it as clear as it actually is. It's pretty cool. Joe, I'll give you an example to go off of, Corey. I have a potential client that wants me to run his Google Ads. He's okay for me to set up his accounts under my, but he wants access. Okay, Joe, I in my opinion, I would not set up a Google Ads account directly inside of an MCC account. And here's why. If that client ever leaves, it's hard to separate that and get that client the access. All right, so let me go through our best practice here, guys. And there's an instance where this is different. Let's say you're niche specific and you're going out into that niche and you've got this nasty, awesome system for that niche, and it's your proprietary system and you do not want it to be in the client's account. There could be an instance where you create a new account for the client and you put their credit card on file inside that account. But you've written it off in your contract or your agreement with them that you own the account and that their credit card's on file just to pay for the ads, that they do not own the asset. That would be okay as long as that's the case and that's that information is relayed. If you're just handcuffing the account, building the account, and just not giving them access to it, that's potentially not cool. It would depend. My recommendation would always be it's the client's account. It gets moved into your MCC account. You're the steward of that account. You're the manager of that account. You're not the owner of that asset. The asset belongs to the business. Okay, that's my opinion. That's how I think it should go. However, there are agencies that do it where they control the asset. It's their proprietary trade secret and whatnot. That's fine. I'm not crazy about that model. And then in between there's a gray area, and Google does not like the gray area. They will side with the client, whoever's card is on file, unless it's documented in writing in an agreement. You got to be careful with that one. Do you think that internship should be unpaid? Al Barazani, I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you think that internship should be unpaid? I have no idea. Please clarify that one. Edward, can you arbitrage non-competitive keywords by reselling your own generated leads? I suppose you could. We do not. So I think you're talking about pay-per-lead. I think that's what you're getting at, Edward. And what I would recommend is go onto our channel and type in pay-per-lead. And we've got 2 or 3 videos on there about pay-per-lead and why I do not like it with Google Ads. I like pay-per-lead when you have an SEO'd property that's ranking well and driving organic leads. That's awesome. I'm all for that. I have some of them. However, with Google Ads, I'm not a proponent of it. And we actually will not take on clients that are paying, even if they're paying us our management fee, we do not take them on for us to manage those campaigns for them. And we go over that in those videos. Okay. How do you feel about unpaid internships? In general, I think they're okay. It depends. If you're doing it just to do it, I'd rather you get a job. If you're doing it to learn a specific skill set under someone that's highly skilled in that area, and you're thinking of it more as an apprenticeship than an internship, I'd say, okay, that's fine. You've got to have a way to support yourself, though. So in the restaurant world, there's something similar to that, and I think it's called stage, something like that. And it's basically an up-and-coming chef or a person that wants to become a chef, and is currently a cook and wants to get to the chef level, will go work in restaurants for free, just so they can learn the craft from a master. So it's appropriate, but I would think in my mind as an apprenticeship, not as an internship. I'm not going in there to just file some papers and do some bullshit office work. I'm going there to learn from a master. That's when I think it's an appropriate use of it, if that makes sense. I hope that answers your question. Dan, what's up? Have you been using image extensions in any of your search accounts? We have not. I wonder who that was that just called. Let's see. I'm just going to Google who that was real quick, and maybe I'll give them a buzz back while we're on this live. I just got to make sure they're cool with it. Yeah, I'm going to call them back. I have no idea who it is. Probably spam, but if it's a, let's see. Bam. All right, what else you guys got? Would you guys like to see me do recordings of calls, like live, like videos of me on calls, answering questions from agencies and then end user clients, like walking through sales calls? Is that something you guys would be interested in? Cool. Okay. Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about. I just have to obviously ask their permission. I don't want to be sneaky about that. So I'd need to make sure they'd be cool with it. Probably wouldn't do it live. I'd probably record it and just have them on speakerphone. All right, guys, I got to jump. Any final questions before I go? Raul, just go to our website and request a white label pricing, and then you'll have my email. I'll send you an email in real time. Awesome. All right, guys. That's it for now. If you're interested in that direct mail course, link is above. If you guys need anything, just hit me up. Have a great day and happy Friday to y'all. All right. Bye, guys.